Hi everyone, my name is Heather, and if you don't know me, I am the owner and operator of Berner Babies and Iowa Yorkie Babies. So today, I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about the whelping process and how we set up our whelping area. So what whelping is the labor and delivery process of puppies. I don't really know why they give it different names for different animals, but they do. So this is Moxie, and she is pregnant. She's due in about 10 days or so on March 14th. So we have her area all set up, and so we're just gonna kind of walk you through what that looks like and kind of name everything, and it's just kind of educational. What do I smell like? What do I smell like? So Moxie is obviously a party Yorkie. And the first thing that we're going to talk to you about today is the whelping box. So the whelping box is set up for the mother to have her puppies in, and it's designed specifically for this process. So I'm going to move my phone and bear with me because I tried to make this video earlier and I really struggled with putting my phone back, but this is important to see. So this is the whelping box. I don't know if you can see it very well. Moxie's in there now. So if you can see, this is obviously from the top. And now we'll try to gently set down my phone. Oh, look, it works. So that's the whelping box. Our Yorkies whelping boxes are 2 foot by 2 foot. And I'll talk about those first, and then I'll talk about the bigger dogs later. So the bottom, this black portion here, is just a 2 by 4 put up on its side, and it's painted, so that it's sealed from any fluids or dirt, feces, whatever, and very easy to clean. And then this top is PVC board, which makes it super easy to clean. And I don't know how well you can tell, but this is actually kind of scooted towards the center of the whelping box itself. And this top portion is actually called the puppy rail. So this puppy rail is extremely important, especially in the larger dogs. With the smaller dogs, with my Yorkies, it's not such a problem, but it's still an important feature. So this puppy rail, what this does is allows the puppies, if they are under the mother, so if the mom is laying with her back right here against the rail and the puppy is under, the puppy can, squid or, kind of squirm their way under their mom to behind her and up and under the puppy rail so that they're safe and no longer being kind of squished by the mom. So this puppy rail feature, super duper important. So then when I showed you the whelping box, you can kind of see this blanket here is under the whelping box, but under there is actually a heating pad. And so when puppies are born, they cannot maintain their body heat. They also cannot see or hear. Their ears are closed and their eyes are closed. And that's for the first 2 weeks or so. So that heating pad is super duper important. I forgot to mention, I'm in my nursery right now, so you'll hear our puppies and other dogs. So I apologize in advance for all the background noise. So the heating pad is extremely important. So in Moxie's whelping box, yes, I just said your name, didn't I? So in Moxie's whelping box, again, it's about 2 by 2, 2 foot by 2 foot, and then the heating pad is about 18, I think it's like 18 by 20 or 18 by 18, something like that. But it takes up about 90% of the whelping box itself. So it's nice because the puppies pretty much have heat in all areas with the exception of the very outside corners. So very super important that we have the heating pad so that the puppies have somewhere nice and warm to go. So then let's go to the Berner's whelping box, which I'm not going to show you simply because of space constraints. I thought it would be easier to show you the smaller scale. So the Bernese Mountain Dogs and the Bernedoodles whelping box is 5 foot by 5 foot, and our whelping area is 5 foot by 8 foot. And so their whelping boxes are much larger, and then we give them 2 heating pads. So we give them 2 heating pads because the mother lays where there's no heat, and then the heating pads lay in the other areas of the whelping box. The Bernese Mountain Dogs do not like the heat. The moms would rather not be warm, and then of course the Yorkies, they love it. So it doesn't bother them to have, in fact, they'll, like Moxie, she'll lay in the whelping box, or she'll lay, this is her bed, actually you can see it, so this is her bed, so she'll lay in either or spot. So another thing I was going to tell you is, like Moxie right now, so she's doing about 10 days, and so she's currently on puppy food. So it's super important that the mother goes on puppy food at least a week prior to giving birth, and that's just to increase her calories. You know, those puppies really grow in the last week or so of gestation, and so you need her to have more calories to help grow the babies and yet keep her body condition well. And then this brown mat that I'm sitting on is called a whelping mat. It's just a little bit more absorbent, and our washing machine does a great job of getting them clean, but during labor and delivery, these get changed constant, and then the few days after, things still kind of keep getting messy, and so these get changed out quite a bit during labor and delivery, and then usually like the first week after, it's sometimes several times a day, or at least once a day, because it continues to get kind of dirty. And so with us, our nursery area, every mother gets a doggy door, and the outside areas are 20 foot long, and then the inside area, this is a metal wall, steel wall, and it's 6 foot tall, and then this is PVC paneling, so it's super easy to clean, but it's also very private. So she can hear the other dogs, but she knows she's completely safe, and so she feels very comfortable. That's either Journey or Maggie, I'm not sure which one. So, but she feels completely comfortable delivering her puppies in here because she knows that she's safe. And one remarkable thing about labor and delivery is, like Moxie, for example, she knows when she has her puppies to have them in her whelping box. Now with the Yorkies, I will say I have had some deliver their puppies in their bed, and sometimes I'll leave them. Like if I keep trying to move them over here and they're like, no mom, I really want the puppies in the bed, they are safe in their bed, and so because the mothers will keep the puppies next to them, they are staying warm, and so I pick and choose my battles with the mothers, and so I'll let them keep them in the bed. But that is one thing I did want to talk about, is the differences in our mothers. So if you don't know who I am and you haven't followed me for very long, I will tell you that I raise Yorkies, or Yorkshire Terriers. I raise Bernese Mountain Dogs, and I raise Bernedoodles. So I'm going to talk to you about each mother. So the Yorkies are by far our best mothers. So they are very adamant that their babies stay close to them. So if they start kind of meandering away, the mother will grab their puppy and bring them close to them again. They keep them clean. They're just really good mothers, especially those first few weeks that they're extremely fragile. And the Yorkie puppies are probably our smartest puppies as far as like finding the warmth and staying close to mom. So like I said, the whelping box and the heating pad, they're almost the same size. So the only place that really there is no heat is the very outside edges. And so if Moxie, for example, just needs a break from her puppies, or maybe she just has to go potty, she'll go outside, she can socialize with everyone else, she can hang out there, whatever she wants. And if I walk in and only the babies are in here, they're all huddled in a little pile in the middle of the heating pad. They just realize that I need this warmth, and so that's where they'll huddle. And we just don't lose newborn Yorkies due to getting too cold, because they just always gravitate towards that warmth. And then we have the Bernedoodle mothers. So let's say we have an F1B litter or an F1B reverse litter, we would have a Bernedoodle mother. They are also very adamant that they want that baby close to them. So if their baby starts to kind of wander off by itself, she will pull it close to her. They tend not to lay on their puppies unless they're extremely overwhelmed. We have one mother, she tends to have very large litters, and so it's a constant battle of counting. Just because I do feel like dogs can count. I don't know if there's very many people out there that agree with me. But once they get above like 7-ish, they start to get overwhelmed, and all they know is that there's puppies everywhere, and yep, there they all are, and so they tend to lose track. And so it's our job to just make sure that they're not laying on the puppies. But the Bernedoodles themselves are also very smart newborns, and they will gravitate towards those heating pads or their mother. They're not one that tends to like meander to the corner and get cold or get chilled or anything, which can be deadly to a newborn puppy. So it's very important, again, that we're diligent and watching and monitoring to make sure that those puppies are staying nice and warm on those heating pads and next to their mother. And then we have our Bernese Mountain Dogs, whom I love and adore, but are the worst mothers that I think I've even ever heard of. So they are not adamant that their puppies are next to them. I just think that because they are so laid back, they're like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want, no big deal. You know, I know you were just born a few hours ago, but yeah, if you want to go hang over there, sure, no big deal. You know, I just feel like they would be that mom in the neighborhood that was like, yeah, sure, you know, go ride your bike 10 miles away. You know, they're one of those really chilled and laid back dogs. So not only when we have a Bernese Mountain Dog litter am I sleep deprived because I'm constantly putting puppies on heating pads all the time, but they also notoriously lay on their puppies. So it's like every 15 minutes we're in here counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm moving a mom all over trying to find number 5. So with the Bernese Mountain Dogs, they are horrible mothers. God love them. I love them to death, but they are by far our worst mothers. A Yorkie, you almost could leave them unsupervised. They're just amazing on their own. You know, I don't have to be so frantically checking on a Yorkie litter. I know that they're doing well every time I check them. I'm just doing it because, you know, of reassurance for myself, I guess. But the Bernese Mountain Dogs, you're doing it because if you don't, something's bound to go wrong. And so when we have the Bernese Mountain Dog litters, I just feel like I'm running ragged and my brain doesn't work properly for a little while, and it's because I don't get any sleep. So let's talk about delivery times. So a Yorkie, oh, you went outside? So a Yorkie, they're very quick. I've had a litter of 4 born within like an hour and a half. Like they're very quick in labor and delivery. A lot of times they need little to no help. You're basically just there as a supervisor. They are just such a good mother. Their instincts are just spot on. I literally, this happened not that long ago. It was Kaya's litter. I checked her. I had to run to Ames, which is like 30 miles from here. So I was going to be on like an hour and a half tops. She was 2 days, I think, from her due date or something like it. She was very close. So I checked on her before I left. She had 0 signs of labor. And I mean 0 signs of labor. I left. I came back. I was gone less than an hour and a half. I come back. She has had her entire litter. And I was like, what? I mean, I was completely shocked because when I left, she had no signs that she was in labor. She wasn't panting, she wasn't pacing, she wasn't scratching, nothing. And so they can be extremely quick. The Bernese Mountain Dogs, on the other hand, they take an extremely long time. I would say on average, it's about an hour a puppy. Sometimes it's 2. Usually we have to have oxytocin on hand because they are such a laid-back breed. They kind of get lazy in the labor and delivery process where they're like, yeah, I've had a few pups, now I'm done, right? And it's like, nope, you're not done. we still got to do some work yet. And I do like to be at every labor and delivery in case there are any complications, no matter what breed it is. But usually it is a lot of, it's more like babysitting and kind of keeping progress going with the Bernese Mountain Dogs, definitely more so than with a Yorkie. Occasionally we'll have to give oxytocin with a Yorkie, but I think it's maybe been one time the whole time I've been raising dogs. So just really, it's very, very, very rare. But with the Bernese Mountain Dogs, you definitely want to have it on hand simply because it is such a common occurrence. So kind of like I mentioned The puppies, when they're born, they cannot maintain their body heat, so those heating pads are extremely important. So in our nursery, I said to you that our whelping area is 8. Moxie, come here. Our whelping area is 8 foot long. So the first, I think it's 3 foot, no, 4, yeah, 3 or 4 foot, I can't remember exactly, is heated floors. And so that way, and that was more designed for the Bernese Mountain Dog more so than like the Yorkie, for example. So as you can see, the whelping box and Moxie's bed are positioned over the heated floor. But with the Bernese Mountain Dogs, the whelping box is pushed all the way to the front, and the heating pads are actually lined along the side. The mother can lay in the back. There's still heated space where there's no heating pad, if I can talk. And so the mother gets to lay in the back where there is no heated floor, so that she's kept nice and cool, she's comfortable. And then outside of the whelping box, still within the nursery area, the inside, that's not heated either for her, so she can stay cool. Bernese Mountain Dogs do not like to be hot. And in the winter time, we keep the nursery at 74 degrees, and in the summer it's like 72. So we keep it much cooler or much warmer in the nursery than we do anywhere else, including our own house. But it's really for the babies. So the Bernese Mountain Dogs, a lot of times she's in a hurry. They'll go outside to cool down. And sometimes same with the Bernedoodles, but mostly the Bernese Mountain Dogs. The nursery really was designed for the Bernese Mountain Dogs in mind, so that they don't get hot, because we can't, when we turn on the floor, we can't say, well, we only want half the floor, or we, designed it so that the whole floor would turn on, and so this back half does not, it stays cool because it's, painted concrete or whatever. So that was super important. We wanted the floors heated so that the concrete was not cold, and we keep that nice and warm for the babies. So we try to make sure that they're nice and spoiled. So there was something else I was gonna say. I'm gonna pause it, I'm gonna think about it, and then I'll come back. Okay, I remembered what I was gonna talk about. So sometimes I get to rattling off different things and then I forget my train of thought. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the actual labor and delivery process, which actually is one of my favorite things. And the reason, sorry, my feet are falling asleep. So the reason that is one of my favorite things is because of the bond that it creates between me and the mothers. Oh, everybody's getting excited. There is just something extraordinarily impressive about a dog that trusts you, 1,000% in their most vulnerable moment. I have a picture from the last litter that Ohana had, where we're in the thick of labor and delivery. She's had a few puppies, but she's got a few more to go, and she just lays her head on my lap, and you can just see in her eyes that she is so thankful that I'm there, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, and I feel like she wouldn't want me anywhere else either. And that bond is something that I truly cannot put into words. It just absolutely is incredible. It's one of my favorite experiences. It never gets tiresome or old, and everybody is so different as far as their needs and their wants during labor and delivery. And so it's my job to know, as their mom, what they want and they need from me. And so I truly enjoyed that experience. Another thing I was going to mention is that this is actually pretty impressive. So like I kind of mentioned, Moxie, she'll know to have her babies in the whelping box. And so my new moms especially, they may not know. This is where I need to have my babies. And so with the new moms only, with my experienced moms, I leave the doggy door open. But with my newer moms, the ones that have never had puppies before, I will lock them in overnight while I'm sleeping, a few days before their due date, even if they don't have signs of labor, just in case something happens overnight. And then as soon as I do see signs of labor, I lock the door down so they can't go outside, because I do not want puppies born outside. I want them born in here. And so let's say something happens and I wasn't there for the first puppy, and I walk in and, oh no, there's a puppy, but it's not in the whelping box. The thing about trust is that I'm gonna tell whoever the mother is, okay, we need to keep the baby in the box because that's where the puppy is safe. And then after that, every puppy will be born in the whelping box, and not just this litter, every litter after that, because I told her one time, honey, this is where we have the babies because this is where they're safe. And I think that is like the most remarkable thing. I'll never have to lock her in ever again, because she'll just know, oh, this is where mom said we keep the babies, this is where the babies go, and this is where we have the babies. No big deal. So they only ever have to be locked in one time, and that is solely based on their faith and trust in me, and I love that. I love that they trust me that much, and there is truly nothing more incredible than that bond and that trust, I guess. I mean, they're just, when a dog is in labor and they're not sure what's going on, especially the first time, they rely on you so heavily to guide them, and there's nowhere else, nothing else I would rather be doing or experiencing than that moment with them, and that's truly incredible. Which is one reason why I don't understand the like guardian home thing. I'm not bashing it, but I don't know if you know what a guardian home is, but that's where the breeder owns the dog, but then they'll send them to a different home to like be with them day to day, the family portion of it, and then they come back to the breeder to be bred and then to whelp. Well, that breeder might own that dog on paper, but it's not their family. You know, that's not their mom that feeds them every day and takes them to the vet every day, etc. And then that breeder is expecting a lot of faith and trust from that dog, even though they don't really know them very well. And I feel like that puts the dog at an in an unfair position. And so it's just not something I could ever get behind. All of our dogs will always live with us, and it's because I want to trust them 100%. You know, I want to be able to trust all their sorry, my husband just walked in. So I want to be able to trust them. You know, I want to be able to handle every puppy from the minute it's born, you know, do everything I need to do. And then I want her to trust me 1,000,000% as well, so that if something happens to her puppy, I can immediately take the puppy, try to resuscitate it, get it cleaned up, or whatever I need to do, and she knows that puppy is safe with me. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today, was the whelping process and what all of that entails. And so yeah, if you have any questions about it, or if you have any questions about anything else, just let me know. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe below. And thank you for following Berner Babies. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.